Good evening. This is General Dr. Elizabeth Samantha Rothschild, Judge, in domestic deployment duty for the U.S. Marshals, Department of Defense, once again. And I was determining, should I do like I did when I was deployed in Texas and rely on the homelessness cover, or should I be forthcoming and let everyone know that in the midst of my current situation and conditions, that automatic deployment was implemented from the command center. I want to say hello to everyone out at the Pentagon. And also, I would like to everyone to know that with my private sector company, Corporate Lawn Securities Incorporated, I, let's see, where's my plug? I am double dipping. Yes, there is duty assignment that supplements my governmental position, and so I am on assignment as well for Corporate Lawn Securities Incorporated Federal Security Administration as the chief principal there. All right, so what I do during this time of domestic deployment, which is a fairly new thing, we hear about our troops, our military troops, who we love being deployed across seas and abroad for the fight against terror. Well, here in America, the civilian form of terror is harassment. And so when I was in Austin, Texas, domestically deployed, the deployment began about the end of 2015, and I was already staying on the streets and had been for a little over a year. And the department implemented domestic deployment, and that was my first time being domestically deployed, although I don't believe I'm the first unit to ever be domestically deployed. And I was assigned to combat harassment in order to undergird the military force fight against terror. Terrorism is a very horrible thing, and there are things in the civilian world which simulate acts of terror and are not termed acts of terror because it's civilian. And so the information that you all need to know is that harassment is the civilian form of terror. And so I began by battling public nuisances, crimes of nuisance, annoyances, public disturbances, public intimidation, things relative to our homeland security that are below the radar, which is the intention of the deployment, that we integrate into our communities and society in order to alleviate the burden of terrorism from the government and from our military here domestically, to continue the fight abroad and to undergird and support that effort by handling things here at home. Charity begins at home. So if we want to be successful in fighting against terror abroad, then we have to get a take on the harassment here at home. And so that's what it was in Austin, Texas. And I'm seeing here it's the same basic and primary duty, yet it has been developed since I came out of deployment, domestic deployment, which was in the year 2017. So I was domestically deployed from 2015 to 2017, approximately a year and a half, something, however the months worked out. But here I am again in the same situation, and due to something that was going on in my personal life that made it conducive for me to be selected for special operations again for domestic deployment, I am here in that capacity. So, what I was sharing with some of my comrades is that um, take into consideration um, public place where people are gathered in the community, maybe a shopping mall, a shopping center, a plaza, a park, public places where everyone goes or crowds gather, and then all of a sudden someone starts yelling and screaming for no reason, without being addressed, without being provoked, yelling absurdities and obscenities, speaking blindly to people in the crowd, instigating fights, or just disturbing the peace loudly, all of a sudden for no reason. That is the same thing that, to equivocate that or find the simulation to an act of terror. We have our embassies. America has embassies in every country. And for a country to become aggressive with us or hostile, non congenial, and we have embassy there, and somewhere near or close to our embassy, there's all of a sudden, for no reason, rapid gunfire. And we're there. That's our embassy. The rapid gunfire is intimidating to our diplomats. Just like someone yelling and screaming in a crowd is intimidating to the public of our citizens. And so here we're looking at harassment in the civilian form and an act of terror from the perspective of our military. And we want to eliminate that problem and cure and resolve all acts of terror. And we must start at home by addressing our issues here domestically to eliminate those public nuisances, and rather than letting them slide, bringing attention to that, raising awareness so that the issues may be addressed by local law enforcement, state and estate law enforcement, as well as federal law enforcement, which includes our Department of Homeland Security, because we want to be safe. So before I go, I'll just give y'all a quick little story what happened. I found out most recently that I would be back out on special operations just during this time while things are in limbo with my home embezzlement and other things, and since I'm not staying at the public homeless shelter, it's really conducive for me to go out as a unit. So I prefer to have approximately 12 hours notice before I have to work a graveyard or stay up all night without being able to sleep. And I was not given notice yesterday. So right when I was looking around to settle down and get me some shut-eye, I was told that I was supposed to work overnight and I needed to be up. So what I did, I went over to where I purchased the building, 1818 H Street, Northwest, 20433, which is currently occupied by World Bank Group, and it's a peaceful acquisition, and so they're still inside. I'm not inside of the building yet, but there's a park right across the street, and I sit around the property frequently so they can become adjusted throughout the transition. So I was sitting across the street. I decided I was going to get me some sleep, so I went to sleep. And then I awakened and I looked up, and Secret Service is right there across the street, lights flashing, no noise, no sound. So I was like, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. I felt really poorly because I had to get some shut eye. I was exhausted, utterly exhausted. So I said, I'm up now. So I get up, I gather my bag, and I left from there, and I went down to GW Hospital, the park across the street from there. I looked around. I didn't see any Secret Service. So I propped my bag up, and I started leaning on my bag. and I got me a couple of more wings. I wake up, MPD across the street, lights flashing. So I'm busted 2 times last night. I'm sleeping on, sleeping in the middle of an assigned shift, and being I'm autonomous general. I get to choose where I go, what I do, but am expected to support command. And so I felt so horrible for going to sleep on them. And I want to apologize, you guys. I am so sorry. So I'm in it to win it tonight. But I was exhausted. So that was twice last night I got busted sleeping, caught sleeping on the job. Now, what happens if that happens? Nothing. I just have to rearrange the schedule and make up for it because, like I said, I'm an autonomous unit of the DoD. And but I don't flake on my assignment. I know what I'm doing. I know it all too well. I've had the very best training, and I'm looking forward to the developments that have occurred since my last deployment in reporting features and raising awareness and getting the job done. So just wanted to share that with you all. That's what's going on, and this is General Rothschild signing off.